Chapter 17 of Last of the Dragonlords by Flashlight 20. The battle for Ironhoof Fortress raged on throughout the afternoon and into dusk. It commenced with barrage of rocks and other heavy materials the Palomian army could get its hands on, hurling them across the plains and large stone walls of the fortress by crudely built trebuchets. Most of the shots went either too far or too short, but the few that made it hit the walls in the right areas. After a while of constant bombardment, part of the outer wall collapsed, lying for entrance for Freya's fortress. The battle with the breach was long and hard, but the Andalusians defending it managed to push them back and force them into retreat. Despite getting a small reprieve which they could use to rebuild defenses, the Andalusians foolishly counterattacked, tossing out of the breach in their hundreds in a futile attempt to drive out the enemies permanently. The battle before the walls of Ironhoof was fought with swords, spears, and crossbows. Once they broke or ran out of bolts, they fought with teeth and hoes, creating a bloodbath in the gap between the fortress and Freya's army. Eventually, the Andalusians broke and retreated back into the fortress, losing many, but giving the Palomians a sharp blow as well. Instead, both sides decided to retire for the night. Silence had now fallen across the land, save for the sounds of birds tweeting their goodnight songs, oblivious to the carnage that lay out in the fields before the fortress walls. Marcia looked at the distant spires of the fortress with sadness and disgust.
Why can't the illusions just surrender?
She wondered aloud.
So much needless bloodshed, and for what?
She turned away from the distant fortress and made her way back to where she and her friends had camped out. They were camped in a small clearing out of the way from the battle, surrounded by trees, that only those that were lost had any chance of discovering them. When she returned, Fluttershy sat down onto her stomach and looked at her friends. All of them were looking at the campfire in dead silence, all thinking the same question she was. How the hell were they even going to get in there? Piggy immediately raised her head up, and when a grin she had was maniacal.
"I died!"
she exclaimed, stopping down a huff. Everybody turned to look at her with wide, excited eyes.
"What is it, Pinky?" Twilight asked. "Well, let me build a giant wooden rabbit, then hide all of us inside the rabbit, and then bring it in, and when we slip out, we'll then go into the stronghold, find the fifth key, leave, defeat Heimdall, and go home,"
she said without pausing. She took a deep breath, and the water poured like,
"What do you think of that?"
The others looked at her professionally. I have a few problems with it, Twilight said, tears slowly nodding agreement.
"Oh,"
Pacey explained in her head.
What's the problem with it?
Well, firstly, how do we build the rabbit? Twilight asked. It would take days to build something like that, and time isn't something we have.
Secondly,
Brave lad,
how can we leave it outside a besieged fortress without attracting 10 cents from the Palomians? And thirdly, have you considered the possibility they might burn the rabbit as soon as they pick it in, or bring it back into Palomians, believing it to be a trap?
Rarity asked last. The thought of a bunny burning made Fluttershy go pale, even a 1-1. She put her hope to her chin and pondered those points over.
Never actually thought about. I'll get back to you when I solve those issues, she said.
Yeah, it's grown her face huffed. Oh, this is ridiculous, Twilight moaned.
Can we just go down there and ask Palomian forces to allow us to enter once they take the fortress?
And watching the battle go for the rest of the day, they quickly realized it wasn't a question of if they took the fortress. It's a question of when.
I don't want to take that chance, Twilight,
Fluttershy said.
But you said you knew the leader of the Palomians. Estrella was her cousin,
Rainbow argued.
Yes, but what if Freya isn't down there? What's the one I don't know is leading the attack?
Fluttershy reasoned. She looked back where the fortress was side.
Besides, I've asked Master Freya already. I don't want to ask her anymore.
Another reason she didn't want to see Freya so soon was because of Thrall's death. She knows she had to tell the old horse at some point, but was reluctant to do so at the moment.
But why don't we wait until they take the fortress? Then look among the ruins once they're gone, Randy suggested.
Fluttershy shook her head in disagreement.
When they get in, they'll take whatever they find and then they think is valuable. One horse might find a key and take it away with them as a trophy when it's over. Then we would never find it.
So they had to do this ourselves. Is that what you're saying? Upset gasped. Fluttershy looked her way and nodded.
I know,
Rainbow exclaimed.
We don't need Fluttershy fly over, sneak into the fortress from above, and find the key that way.
Yeah, then you will both make great target practice for their crossbows, Twilight said with a shake her head. Fluttershy sighed.
Right. I Right. I need to go to the bathroom.
Before they could reply, she disappeared in the bushes and began walking through the woods. Just before they got out of earshot, she could barely hear Twilight see the rainbow. You left Sarah. In truth, she didn't need the loo. Methinks the writer's either British or Norwegian! She just wanted to get away for a bit. They had been here for half a day, deciding on how to get in. And still nothing that wasn't ridiculous came up. She gained distressed to pace this out. They meant well. Fluttershy knew that. But some of the ideas that came up were just other, fancier words for suicide. Earlier in the day, Applejack suggested they find a catapult or a trip bucket, then fling them one at a time over the walls, and hope to land on something soft. The others surprisingly agreed, if Applejack agreed to go first. What Steer politely declined. Fluttershy felt like she was going to snap at one of them at any moment, so he decided to take a walk back and forth around the woods to calm herself down. This was the 5th such walk that day. She finally settled herself out of the woods and on a wide dirt road. On the other side of the road was a river that Thor told her to follow before he died. To her left was the way back to Ram's Head Range, while to her right were the Bolognian army encampment and the fortress, faint sounds of singing coming from the camp. Her ears suddenly twitched with the sound of 2 horses coming down towards her. She looked back into the bushes and listened intently as the speakers came closer. "Well, do you think this is what this was?" one horse, Amir, asked. The horses now were so loud she could guess they were in front of her. "I got no idea, but not for a while, I guess," Yosemite replied. "You heard what those geese said at the earlier peace terms. They too afraid to take a piece to take a rubber." "Yes, I know what they said. I was right next to her," the mayor cut him off. "I just wanted to get back home as soon as you know." "We all do, love," the Sally said, "but think about it. When this is over, and this war will be as well, we would never have to fight again. And then I could tell many good mayors about heroics of battle." Mayor started. "Yeah, like how you guarded back a train for the eve of Mass. It's 10% as important as any other around here. You, without me, you all be starving and here for the East End lands." The stallion started. "Come on, let's get back to camp. It's out here, and I'm so hungry I could eat a bush." The 4 horses spun around, trying back to camp. "That was your worst Norwegian accent in history!" shouted Trixie. First I poked her head and moved back down the road. Mossy has turned back at the last moment. Was he didn't. Plus I relieved to know Freya was okay. She was in charge of the army here. But that still didn't change her mind in asking Freya for support. She looked to the river and realized how thirsty she was. She moved to the edge and stuck her tongue out and had a taste of the water. Upon touching it, she pulled it out and spit it out, making a little sound like Opal makes when she has a hairball. The water was foul. It tasted like dirt. Her eyes widened when she realized it wasn't dirt, it was sewage. Sewage from the fortress. She ran back into the woods to find something to get rid of the horrible taste. She quickly found a number of leaves from an oak tree, so she tore them off and stuffed them in her mouth to get rid of the foul taste. After chewing for a while, she swallowed the leaves, leaving her mouth feeling cleaner and minty afterwards. She looked back at the river, and her eyes went wide as she had an idea. She walked back onto the road, took to the air, and hovered over the river. As she followed the river, she came under the dark stone walls of the fortress that rested on the cliff edge just above the river. Her eyes soon managed to make out a black hole in the rock face, and grinned. "I got it!" she squeaked. She spun around and flew at the campsite, all the while molding her plan together. As she got closer, she could hear multiple voices, raised and sounding angry. Her ears felt flat as she realized her friends were arguing about something. Moved a little quicker so she could stop this. She arrived to the campsite to see her friends looking angry at each other and sounding each other's faces. "Girls!" Fluttershy yelled, loud enough to be heard over them all. They stopped arguing, turned to face Fluttershy with surprised looks. "I don't know. I don't care how it started or why, but I just want to see or hear my friends arguing over themselves, or you have bigger problems at the moment. I hate when you argue." She hated them. Look at with scowl. "And what do you have to say with each other?" The ponies all looked at her guiltily, and then at each other. "Sorry!" they muttered one at a time. Fluttershy nodded satisfaction. "Good. Anyway, I know the way in." "You have?" Fluttershy nodded. "You're not gonna like it, though." "Fluttershy, at this rate, I will take anyone can land. Even the stewards are fighting," Applejack said. Brady made a giggle out despite herself. "But he used to say that.
Because I found a sewage tunnel beside the river that goes outside to the fortress. We can get in that way. We can go into the keep and come out from underneath it.
Somewhere, Rarity's about to shriek. Great silence fell among them. 4 of the 5 ponies looked perpetually serious and began to realize Fluttershy was being serious. After a moment, Rarity started laughing. That's good. Well, very good, Fluttershy. I never knew you had such a good, if a little bit wicked, sense of humor. Fluttershy looked at her seriously.
Rarity, I'm sorry, but I'm being serious. I think we should go into the sewers and get in that way.
Rarity's laughter turned into something like crying and laughing. But darling, don't you realize that would mean we would have to walk through holes?
Well, Rarity,
As I said, slamming a hoof into the unicorn's mouth before she could finish.
but we have no other choice. It's either that or do nothing at all. I see. Twilight, is there any chance you could pull a silent spell over me? I'm about to have a freak out. Oh, sir.
Well, Rainbow sighed. It's gonna be messy, but I've done a lot messier things than this. I'm in. So am I. Applejack second.
Me too,
Pinky said. As am I. Twilight said. They all looked at Rarity now with pleading eyes. Rarity eventually caved in. All right, fine. I'm in. Twilight grinned and moved back towards the fire.
Right, let's just go get something to eat to go to sleep. Got an early start in the morning.
Well there, Sugar Cube, Applejack said, starting forever. But you're suggesting we wait until tomorrow. Will they recommence the attack? First I now will sigh.
I'm sorry, but it might be easier.
How can going through a war make this even easier? Rainbow asked. Actually, I see her logic, Twilight said. All eyes turned to her for an explanation. Tonight, the Andalusian soldiers will be relaxing, knowing that the Palombian forces won't attack tonight. But they will be keeping alert in case of attacks from inside. While if we wait until the attack begins, they'll be concentrating on the walls, while leaving the back basically defenseless. So, your saying is, the closer we are to danger, the further we are from home. Twilight nodded. Well, they don't make no sense to me, but I won't argue with Twilight, Applejack said.
So, we wait until tomorrow morning here?
Pinky asked. The 5 friends nodded their head.
Right, I'm glad we came to a decision.
First said. She stood around and brought something out of her father's saddlebags.
How about for dinner I make us some soup?
That sounds super, Pinky said with a grin. Everybody either gone or laughed at Pinky's pun. After a beautiful festival soup, they fell asleep with stars shining on their own. The sounds of whinnies from horses and the groans of tree buckets crashing into the rock hitting stone halted the 6 points awake. The sounds of battle that echoed across the countryside like an explosion. We overslept, Twilight stated. No, we're up on time, Rainbow said, looking towards the sun. They just started early. Horsley instantly started up, attaching a sword by his narrow legs.
Come on, every pony, let's get this clean. But what about breakfast? Pinky said. My mom always said I must have started eating on if he's not. We need to get to that fortress now, while there still is a fortress, Pinky. We can have a big dinner when we get back here.
Fluttershy said persistently, showing her saddlebags to bushes for hiding. Twilight, Applejack, Pinky, and Rainbow copied Fluttershy, referring their bags to the same bush. Fluttershy suddenly noticed one pony was missing.
Where's Rarity?
It's okay, Fluttershy. I'm here. I'm not chickening out of this, she asserted them all. We didn't even doubt you would, Sugar Cube, Applejack said, although her voice said otherwise. What are y'all doing anyway? Yeah, now's not the time to make yourself look nice. I mean, we are about to walk through horses. Oh my gosh! Rainbow yelled in horror. As Rarity emerged from the bushes, to raise his gasp in shock. Fluttershy stepped forward, fighting an urge to hug and comfort the unicorn.
Rarity, how could you do that to yourself?
Rarity's mane had been cut down so short, it was now sorely behind her head and halfway down her neck. Her tail had been cut down so it soared to big Megatosses. Oh, don't worry about it, girls, really. Rarity said with dismissive mane. Short manes and tails aren't in this season. Besides, I'm not going to let my hair be ruined by someone else's mess. Rare, if you wanted to save your mane and tail for Nat, we'll give you my spare headbands. I cut you with mine, Applejack said, emphasized by taking out small red hairbands for the others of manes and tails. Rarity felt an eye twitch. Soon, they were ready to go. First, I put her mane into a bun that rested on top of her head, and her tail was also bunned, so it was a large lump sticking out from her backside. Rainbow only tied the back and tip of her tail, shortening it, while Twilight, Pinkie, and Applejack copied Fluttershy with their tails. Applejack stuck her mane under her hat. Dear Myken, this is how Rarity would normally act. Applejack, I had to ask, Twilight said. Does style tail make my rump look big? Applejack looked at Twilight oddly, then looked at her tail. Of course it does, she answered defensively. Are we ready? Fluttershy asked. 5 Ponies nodded their head. Now let's go. She let out a whinny and galloped away to walk yesterday evening. The others followed behind her with determination in their eyes. They soon arrived at a dirt road, a light brown river that flowed on the other side. They could hear to their right the battle cries of thousands of horses as they launched their attack on the fortress once again. Fluttershy walked up to the river and looked to see if she could see the bomb. Thankfully, the water was shallow enough so it could go to their waist. Right, Fluttershy said, trying to ignore the distracting sounds of battle a few minutes away. We followed the river down until we reached a large hole in the cliff face. She stepped to the water, grimacing at the cold touch of the water on her coat. Twilight stepped in next, began swimming like a dog around the river. Applejack could only quickly followed. Following Rarity was pushed in by Rainbow, decided to hover above the river instead. With 5 Ponies in, they began following Fluttershy down the river towards the sewer entrance. The current was weak compared to the river they had to cross to Ramshead Range, but gently flowed against them as they made their way down, forcing them to work hard. Is that it there, Fluttershy? Rainbow asked, pointing to the cliff face. Fluttershy looked to see where her friend was pointing, and grinned at the dull gray cylindrical object emergency from the cliff face. At least I wasn't imagining things, she thought to herself. That's it, every pony. She set her legs down in the riverbed and walked slowly to the sewer entrance. The entrance itself was thankfully big enough for a pony to fit in. It was too far off the ground for a pony without wings to help them. 6 large iron bars blocked the way. Fluttershy's ears fell flat upon seeing them. Allow me to help with that, Twilight offered. She walked beside her, using her magic, snapped the bars off their attentions, flung them into the river, avoiding their friends as she did so. After you. Fluttershy nodded her thanks and flew up into the sewers. Rainbow followed behind, helping Applejack, Twilight, Pinkie, and Rarity up after them. The tunnel was dark, strangely yet clean, yet a foul smell still hung in the air. It made Fluttershy's nose itch because of it. Sooner out of here the better, she said, and proceeded down the tunnel at a nimble trot. The others followed close behind at the same pace. A few minutes later, they had worked into the sewer network itself. The tunnel was made out of bricks, and the sides were bricked up from the walking platforms, also creating a trench for the sewage to run through the river. What surprised the Dragonlord most, however, was the lack of sewage running down towards them, or the dirt that hung around the walls. Apart from the few small spots, it was spotless. Realizing she didn't need them anymore, she took her hands off her mane and tail, and went back to Applejack. She was glad to be rid of them, to be honest, but he might be practical, but not comfortable. So, any idea where to go from here? Rarity whispered, voice sounding a bit squeaky due to the peg on her nose. First, she went to her friend, then back in front of her. The tunnel kept going down into the darkness, and was divided by a large number of various exits going to different tunnels. Some smaller, some larger, but all the same made navigation look impossible. I would suggest splitting up here, going down each tunnel, see if we can find the keep, Rainbow said. Twilight shook her head dismissively. I don't think that's a good idea, Rainbow. I prefer we stay together. Safety in numbers and all that. Besides, what if one of us gets captured? She's right, Fluttershy agreed. They capture one of us, they might kill us on sight for being spies. I was nearly executed just for coming here. I don't want to imagine or see what they do to those they accuse of spying. And that still doesn't help us on the way down from here, he said. Smells like things that remind me of a piece of advice Granny Smith gave me one time. If you ever doubt your eyes, then follow your nose. Applejack said with a chuckle. The Earth Pony walked ahead of them, They proceeded to sniff the air. She walked to the opening of one tunnel and sniffed down there. She shook her head and tried down to the next one, doing the same thing she did with the first one, sniffing down the tunnel and then backing away with shaking her head. Not this one either, she announced. She tried ahead of the group. All the sounds were heard were loud sniffs, and a low rumble of stones falling to the fortress above them. The 6 ponies made their way down the main tunnel, with Applejack up front sniffing the foul air, Twilight close behind illuminating the way with her horn. The friends passed at least 8 other tunnels leading off from the main one, but Applejack said they weren't the right ones also. Eventually they came to another intersection, where the tunnel moved away from the main one on the left and on the right. The one on the left was the same size as the others, whereas the one on the right was small, further so off the ground, and big enough for one pony at a time. Applejack stopped to sniff the air from the main tunnel, moved to the smaller tunnel to sniff the air, then the same with the right side by stuffing her face inside, making a loud sniffing sound. She repeated it almost one more time and stopped to think, screwing her face as thought. We go that one, she declared suddenly, pointing down the left tunnel.
How can you, sir?
Rainbow demanded. The air's not as foul down that way as this one. In fact, it's worse down here than the others. If the keep is the most populated area of this place, that would be, Applejack answered her smile. Like my granny Smith, always follow your nose. She tried to head the others, her nose pointing to the air, sniffing every now and then to see if she got it right. Flashlight tried ahead, face raising her smile.
I just realized I would never have gotten this far without all of you, so thank you.
I'll take notice of it, Sugar Cube. Just glad to be of service, Applejack replied. The 6 fell silent once more as they followed the tunnel deeper into the fortress. Above them all, they could hear a low rumble of rocks hurled into the fortress by trip buckets, which broke off dust from the ceiling and fell to the ground. Some of it landed on Pinky's nose and caused her to sneeze confetti. Are those stairs? Applejack called out for what seemed like an hour of walking. They yelled to their joy that he was right. The tunnel continued down into the darkness, while a flight of wooden and old stairs led up through the horseshoe. Who wants to go up first? Applejack turned her head to face the others. Fluttershy took a step forward, but Rainbow gently pushed her back and rushed up to the stairs, ready to go up. With a deep breath to calm her nose, Rainbow walked slowly up the stairs, every step creaking under the press of her hooves.
Rainbow, be careful.
Fluttershy called to her. Rainbow looked back at Green reassuringly. I'm always careful, she said. Just as she arrived at the top, she banged her head on the horseshoe. Fluttershy rolled her eyes and face huffed. Rainbow shook her head to clear the dizziness and carefully opened up the horse hole. She peered up to see they were in a small square room, built out of gray stone with a single wooden door facing her. She moved up a bit to see where any of the horses were inside.
It's okay, guys,
she called out in a whisper. There's none here. She sifted the horseshoe out of the way, moved to the door. With a gentle push, the door opened, and Rainbow was able to make out part of the corridor on the other side. The stone walls were decorated with banners and tapestries of the illusion armies. They were bright white rather than plain stone that she considered to be the closet room she was in. Breezy was quiet yet quick. She moved slowly out of the corridor and glanced left and right. Her ears right up to hear any approaching horses. 5 friends waiting in the small room, waiting for Rainbow's all clear. The corridor had beautiful blue carpet laid out across its floor, decorated with dark red lines that curved and swayed across it. To her right was a large black door leading out to the courtyard, with a wearing white horse on its face. To her left, the corridor stretched down about 40 feet and disappeared in a sharp turn to the left. All the while, many plain and boring doors led to many rooms that broke up the walls and banners. After a while, listening to the battle cries that was coming from the outside, the crashing of rocks and stones and trees, Rainbow gestured for the others to come out.
I think it's okay,
she called to them. Without moving cautiously out of the room, Rainbow made her way right around the corner, flight of stairs, and built out of white stone, and a red rug covering the stairs.
Guys, there's some stairs we can use,
she informed the rest. He moved up beside her and grinned. Please note that there's a way around the keep.
Okay, now we're here. What's the next part, Fluttershy?
Twilight cleared, turning to face the Pegasus.
Fluttershy looks surprised. Excuse me?
You know, what's the next part of your plan? Rainbow reminded her.
Oh, I only came up with the part of getting inside. I didn't bother to think about what to do when we got here. Sorry.
Fluttershy said with her head low. Everybody sighed. "That's okay, Sugar Cube," Applejack said. She turned to the most intelligent member of the group. "So, Twilight, what do you suggest we do?" Before Twilight could respond, Fluttershy and Rainbow heard the whine of something falling through the air. Rainbow gave a scream of alarm. "Get back!" She pushed them and herself against the wall. It was tight before they could form a massive lump of rock smashed through the front wall, destroying the black door completely, and rolled out of the corridor, before coming to stop at the far end. The only sounds that could be heard afterwards were breathing of 6 occupants on the corridor. "Everybody okay?" Applejack gasped. 5 responses followed quickly. 6 ponies moved off the wall and inspected the stairway, which thankfully weren't damaged by the shot. "Right," Twilight said. "I think we have a chance of finding this key. Then I'm afraid we're going to have to split up." The 5 ponies reluctantly agreed. "Rarity, Fluttershy, you go with one team, cover the top floor. Applejack, Pinky, you cover the bottom floor. And Rainbow and me will cover the middle. We'll all meet back here, less than an hour, okay?" "Alright!" the 5 ponies cried together. Rarity, Fluttershy, Twilight, and Rainbow proceeded up the stairs, while Applejack and Pinky watched them leave.
Oh, girls, one more thing.
Fluttershy brought them all to their attention.
If any horses come up against you, avoid killing them again, please.
"Of course, Leo," Applejack agreed. "I'm not taking out some undead things, but I never want to kill an actual living thing." The 4 ponies died, and Fluttershy nodded in agreement. Fluttershy smiled.
Okay, then, let's go find the key.
She spun around, led Twilight, Rainbow, Rarity up the stairs, while Applejack and Pinky galloped around the bend and out of sight.